Hey, Trolls here. That was the sound of an organic Coca-Cola. I have to say before I start this video, I'm totally into cane sugar. All this high fructose stuff, it's so not worth it. Once you've had the taste of sweet cane sugar, you'll never go back. And with those words of wisdom, I'm about to start this video. In this video, I'm going to be covering our Hybrid Tools 3 pulses, meaning all the tempo sync stuff we have in the library. We have over 300, I think, different types of cinematic pulses. And a pulse can sometimes be tonal, sometimes it'll be rhythmic. So it's a little between sort of a typical hybrid rhythm and a rhythmic or a more tonal kind of texture. But without further ado, let me just show you a little bit about the interface here. We got our lovely chaos button here, and I'll demonstrate that a little later. The chaos button associated to all the different effects inside of the interface here as well. Obviously, I've loaded the Pulses Fast. We have both standalone patches and full patches in the library, but in this case, I'm just using our BPM Fast. And as you can see here, there's actually a variety of different modules. And the BPM is the core tempo it was recorded in, but obviously everything is tempo synced to your DAW, so it's fully gonna match. And down here, you can also control the tempo. This would be double tempo, this would be normal tempo, and this would be half tempo. But we're gonna stay in the normal world today. But yeah, let me just take the pulses here for a run. And just before I get started, keep an eye down here. You're gonna see that I'm gonna hold down some keys all the time, which will sort of be a hi-hat groove or something that I really like, that just I wanna sustain through the whole groove. But I also like to play with the grooves almost like they're drums. So even though there are groove segments, some of them will have more of a bass drum feel, some have more of a snare drum feel, and I sort of like to play them as actual instruments, almost like a drum kit, on top of the sort of more sustained type of grooves. But yeah, just keep an eye on it. So as you probably noticed in the video, this key here was held down and this guy here was held down, but all the other elements was played more like individual groove kits. So. And as I mentioned at the beginning, all the grooves are also tempo sync. So let me just try to play another one here. And let's do some tempo sync of this. So I'm going to bring in my BPM meter here so you can see exactly what's going on. And I should also mention one of the beautiful things about the tempo sync here is that we're using the contact beat machine, meaning that everything is sliced. The time machine is good for some things, but when it comes to beats, it's better to keep it in the sliced world, in my opinion. Let me also demonstrate here what happens if you take a traditional pulse, but you blend it with other elements. I'm just gonna make a simple groove with the pulse, and then I'm gonna try to add our epic drum kit to it. And I'm also gonna add our epic bends, which is another tempo sync part of the library, and they're really phenomenal. You can sculpt them in a variety of different ways, but let me just try to lay down a track here with the pulses, and then I'll layer with the drum kit, and then I'll layer with the epic bends, and you're gonna see what it's all about. Okay, and now I'm going to take my epic boom kit and I'm going to generate a groove on top of it. And as you can see here in the groove kit, I've added a little on the highs. It just gives it sort of more clarity in the mix. And now I'm gonna add a third element. These are our epic bends, and they're really one of my favorite things in the library. An epic bend is essentially, let me just switch this guy off here so you can hear it. It's essentially just a note that bends down 1 or 2 octaves over a period of time, and everything again is tempo synced here. But you could really sculpt them different ways. But let me just try to give one of them here for a go. So in this case, you can hear it was a little bit artificial. You can see I stretched it up 10 semitones here to make it sort of feel with the tune of the groove. There's a cool thing you can do with the epic bends here. If you right click on the offset button here, and right now I'm just having associated to my mod wheel, you can sort of go into the bend. So you can do like, and it really, that's great, especially if you combine it to a sequence. Right now I'm going to activate the sequencer here, our step sequencer. You can really do things like Alright, so let's try to combine the pulses with the boom kit and the epic bends. I think it's a super wicked effect because it allows you to play around with the tuning. You can have it in tune if you want, or you can sort of just let it go out, and then you can dial it back to the mix in terms of its tonality whenever you want. And there's a great feeling using the mod wheel in context of grooves instead of just having everything sort of normally tempo synced. And obviously this one is actually tempo synced. If you just hold it down, it's actually going to follow 8 bars. But I actually like to sculpt it more in the mod wheel, particularly using the offset button. I think it allows you to do more. Let's try to lay down another groove here. Let me see if I can find another groove kit here. I'm going to lay down a beat with the pulses, and then I'm going to add some boom kit and 2 layers of epic bends and really see how far we can push and mangle this beast. And let's add a unison on top of that and some additional drums with the boom kit. The unisons are cool. They're sort of detune effects that sort of slowly get into a unison note, and they can be really great using together with the epic bends as well. So let me add a couple of those, and then I'm going to play a groove with the boom kit on top of that, and let's see where we are. To me, like, that boom kit's just got the booms going. Let me also add some epic bends here and check it out. So I mean, it's dead simple to use this thing. The pulses just hold down keys, the epic bends just hold down keys, everything is neatly tempo synchronized, and if you use the step sequence with the epic bends, you can get them sort of to sync and pulse as well. And it's great for other synthesizers as well. Let me also show you another neat trick here with the step sequencer and the epic bends. So you can notice here that the step sequencer is active. And the cool thing is that all the keys on the epic bends here are in the same key. So these are different samples, all these guys here. So when you use the module here, it won't generate different notes in the sense that the pitch is different, which would normally do if you had sort of a tonal chromatic instrument here. But in this case, it's going to grab different samples as it would normally do as well. But since we have all the different epic bends, it's going to create a wave sequence up here. And it's a really cool way of sort of sculpting different sounds. If you want a more organic, changing, sort of arpeggiated type of unique organic sound, this is a great way of doing it. So you don't get that static one note thing, but you actually get, as you know, you can create very elaborate sequences here with up to like 30, 40 different waves that will all mingle together. So, and obviously when you hit a different key, it's going to generate a different sequence depending on what region it's taking notes from as well. So I'm just going to hold down a couple of keys here and maybe do it twice so you can hear the difference between each time you do it and the wave sequence. And obviously you can do the same to the pulses. So if you want to be really naughty and push the whole module a little further, then essentially just load up the pulses, activate the step sequence here. Let's click the random symbol here, which you can see randomizes some of these buttons here, but also randomizes the entire sequence. So, you know, you click on it all the time, then everything here is new. And I have no idea what's about to happen. Okay, cool. That was sort of an interesting, I don't know what time signature that was. Okay, so 7/8. Cool. Let me also, just to wrap it up here, let's try to play some more pulses and really go crazy here on our lovely chaos feature as well. So essentially, I'm going to activate all the effects here. As you can see, they're all ready to go. And the way chaos works is that obviously you can do chaos of the individual effects here by clicking the atomic symbol. But if you really want the mother of all chaos, you click this guy here, which essentially randomizes every single effect that is activated. If they're not activated, they won't be affected by this, but if they are activated, then they're going to be impacted by it. So I'm just going to try right now to play 3 different pulses. I have no idea what's to happen. I'm just going to click chaos, and then we'll see what happens. It might be disgusting, it might be beautiful, probably a little in between. Okay, all of a sudden we are underwater. Let's start another one and see if we can get back to the surface of things. All right, that sounds a little more hybrid. Let's try one last time. I actually totally forgot to drink my Coke throughout this entire video, so I have a full, nice, organic Coke in front of me. I'm also a little concerned about your attention span, so maybe it's time to wrap up the video. And just before I wrap it up, also remember to watch some of our other Hybrid Tools 3 videos. We're really covering a broad amount of content here, and for that reason we have individual videos showing all the different aspects of this very, very deep library. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Take care.